Hey guys, welcome back to YT Classroom. I hope you all are doing well. So today we're looking at 0580 Paper 2 Variant 1 from May June 2024. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell to get updates for more videos upcoming on, especially for the 2024 series May June papers. Let's start on. Don't forget to like, share and share this video, and also comment if you have any doubts throughout this whole paper. I'll be working out the solutions for the whole paper, and then I hope it helps you guys. Alright, so moving on, paper 2-1, alright. The first question that we have here, it says the diagram shows two sides of a parallelogram A, B, C, D. Find the coordinates of point D. So as you can see here, this is a 2-mark question, and they have basically said that this is an incomplete parallelogram. Now, how do you do this is basically because the parallelogram, we have to find the point D. Now, since it would be parallel to AB, we could find the gradient to AB relative to C. That is, if you find 1, 2, 3, 4, basically these 4 boxes up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 boxes this way. That means we can assume that from C, it would be 4 boxes up as well. So 1, 2, second box, third box, and 4 boxes, and 6 boxes towards that side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it would be roughly somewhere here. This would be the point D. If you take a ruler and then you would mark it over here. Alright, hold on. If you take a ruler and you mark it over here, and then you connect this point back with point C, you can see that you will get a parallelogram. So hence this is the correct answer. And so in order to mention the correct answer, you have to see the coordinates. The coordinates for this new point that we have got is -3 and 7. -3 as well as 7. Alright, moving on to the next question. It says that Geeta has a box of toys. She picks a toy at random from the box. The probability that she picks a wooden toy is 0.6. Work out the probability that she does not pick a wooden toy. So only 2 events are happening. The total probability is always 1. The probability that she picks a wooden toy is 0.6. So not would be 1 minus 0.6 would be 0.4. Then it says that the box contains 3 types of toys: wooden, plastic, or metal. So it says that the number of toys, wooden is not given, but in the probability 0.6, plastic and metal are equal numbers. So we basically know that for the plastic and metal, imagine they're grouped together as 1. So 14 plus 14 would be 28. The total number would be 28 plus x, because the x would represent the wooden numbers. 28 plus x is equals to 0.4, because this is 0.6 and the total probability is always 1. So this would be 0.4. Then you're going to solve for x. So 28 is equals to 28 into 0.4. 28 into 0.4, that's 11.2 plus 0.4x. So 0.4x would be 28 minus 11.2, 16.8, and the x value is basically 16.8 divided by 0.4. That gives you 42. Now what is x here? X basically means that the total number of objects is 28 plus 42, as we see. 28 plus 42. That means the total number of objects is 70. Because this we took 28 from plastic and metal, the remaining x we saw that would represent the wooden. So wooden would be 42, and the total number of objects now we have is 42 plus 14 plus 14, that is 70. You can even check this, because if you do 42 divided by 70, it gives you 0.6. Now since the total number of objects is 70, in order to find their probabilities, 14 over 70, that's basically 0.2. And since this is also equal, so this would be 0.2. Now moving on, it says the diagram shows some information about 2 sequences. Complete the table. You have to find the 5th term. For the 5th term, what you would do is you basically put n in this equation as 5. So it is 60 minus 4 times 5. That would give you 40. The same for the other one. Now here n is being squared, so we just do 5 squared minus 300. That's negative 275. So we're done with the first part, which is complete the table. It says find the smallest positive number in the sequence B. So basically, as you can see, if you take a small number and then square that, minus that by 300, you will likely get a negative number. So they're asking you what is the first number will get positive number. Now this is basically trial and error. Let's start experimenting. We did 5 and we're getting negative 275. So let's go with 10. If you do 10 squared minus 300, you're still getting negative 200. So there's a big difference. So I can take 15. 15 squared is giving me negative 75. Now this is somewhat close. So if I try 16, I'm getting negative 44. If I try 18, I get 24, but I should check 17 as well. 17 gives me negative 11. So 18 is giving me 24. Therefore 24 would be the answer. In order to show the trial and error, maybe you can show 17 squared minus 300 is giving me this answer, and 18 squared minus 300 is giving me this answer. So when we did with 17, you get negative 11. When you did with 18, you're getting 24. So the smallest positive number in the sequence B is basically 24. Remember, they're asking for the number. That would be 24, not 18. It says, next question says, find the greatest odd number that is a factor of 140 and a factor of 210. So what are the factors of 140? Easy to find. Basically 1 into 140. This is the method that I use. 2 into 70. Now 140 divided by 3 would be something. Okay, it's not divisible by 3. Not 4 as well. Okay, 4 into 35, yeah. 4 into 35. It would definitely be divisible by 5. So 5 into 28. 5 into 28. Then I don't think it would be 6. But if you do 7, 7 times 20. 7 times 20. Then not 8, not 9. And then if you do 10, you do 10 times 14. It can't be 11 as well. Neither 12, nor 13. And 14 we already got. So these are the factors of 140. Now if you do 210, again the same method. 1 times 210. 2 times 105. 3 times 70. Now 210, it can't be divided by 4, but it can be divided by 5. So 5 times 42. It wouldn't be 6. Okay, 6 times 35. 7 times 30, I believe. Yeah, 7 times 30. Okay, not 8, not 9. 10 times 21, obviously. 10 times 21. I'm just gonna write the remaining ones down. Would it be 11? No. 12? No. 14? 14 times 15. So I got 14 and 15 as well. Now if you look from the last part, because I defined the greatest factor, so it can't be 140 to 10. No. 70. Okay, 70 is an even number, so we can't consider that as well. But if you see 35 is common, it's odd, so it would be 35, obviously. The next part is calculate. So this is simple. Just put this in your calculator. Do not make any mistakes here. These are scoring questions. Minus 40.96. So that's giving you 0.6. And the next question is 192 plus 4 into 16 times 1.25. That's going to give you 1024. Moving on, we have this question, which is the diagram shows 5 kites that are congruent to the kites A, B, C, D. So there's A, B, C, D in the remaining other 5 kites. Each kite is joined to the next kite along one edge. Angle DAB is 140 and DC is a straight line. Find the value of x. And if you assume that DCE, this line, is basically a straight line, that means the angle on this line would be 180. And since there are 6 kites, so if we do 180 divided by 6, that means we know that this angle inside them would be 30. 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, as well as 30. Now we know that this angle, like the opposite angles in a kite, are always equal. And the total angle would be 360 since it's a quadrilateral. So what you're going to show is that 180 divided by 6 is basically 30. If you do 360 minus 40 plus 30, that's basically 360 minus 40. 40 plus 30. That's going to give you 290. So x would be, since x is just asking for 1, 290 divided by 2. That gives you 145. Alright, so x would be 145. Moving on, we're moving on to question number 7. The diagram shows a shape made from triangle JKL and a semicircle. So they're asking us for the area of the shape. First, we'll take the area of the triangle. Since it's a right angle triangle, what you're going to do is half into the base, which is 12.8, into the height. You could do 12.8 squared because 12.8 times 12.8 plus the area of a semicircle. Now since this is a semicircle, what I would do is half into pi into r squared. R is basically 12.8 divided by 2. That's going to be 6.4. 6.4 squared. Why did half? Because it's a semicircle, so obviously you need half the area. Just put the whole thing in a calculator. 0.5 into 12.8 into 12.8 plus 0.5 into pi into 6.4 squared. That's going to give me somewhat like 146.2598175. So I'll just take this as 146 and 3 significant figures. Then it says calculate the perimeter of the shape. Now for the perimeter of the shape, I would need the length of LK, which is Pythagoras theorem. Because Pythagoras theorem is a squared plus b squared is c squared. So in order to find c, I would do square root of a and b squared, 12.8 squared. 12.8 squared plus 12.8 squared. When we do this, square root of 12.8 squared plus 12.8 squared, the exact value in my calculator shows 64. This is the exact value. I'm using this so that I can get an accurate answer. That's one length of the perimeter. JK is given as 12.8. Just we need to find the circumference of the semicircle. Now circumference is basically pi d. So if you do pi into 12.8, we would get the circumference. But remember, this is a semicircle, you just have to do half as well. So 0.5 into 12.8 into pi, which is gotten from here. This is going to give you 32 over 5 pi as per my calculator. Now what you're going to do is, remember 12.8 is there. So 12.8 plus 64 to power over 5 plus 32 over 5 pi. Just add up everything. So 12.8 plus 64 to divide by 5 plus 32 over 5 times pi. That's going to give you 51, because 51.008 is 51 as well. If you want to write 3 significant figures, you can write 51.0 as well. Moving on, it says that these are the first 5 terms of a sequence. Find an expression for the nth term. So this is basically a sequence which has common difference. So first of all, we'll find the common difference. Common difference is basically 7, because 11 plus 7, then 18 plus 7. So common difference is 7. Alright, so if you take the equation, it would be starting with 7n. Then when you see the first term, you gotta see that what do I have to add, like 7n plus 1. Expression would start with 7n plus something. Alright, now I know that if I put n as 1 plus, I don't know, there's something constant, which is, let's say, x is equals to 11. So 7 plus x is 11, so x would be 4. So hence the answer would be 7n plus 4. You can even check this, just put, let's say, the fourth term we want. So 7 times 4, which is 28, plus 4, that gives me 32. So hence this is correct. 7n plus 4. Next up, it says that the value of the car is $8,000, and each year the value decreases exponentially by 25%. Calculate the value of the car after 3 years. So the formula is basically, you take the initial value 8,000, since it's decreasing, 1 minus 25% means 25 over 100, or you can write 0.25 raised to 3. So the initial amount, then you do 1 plus, it would be increasing and minus would be decreasing, then the percentage, and the power would be the number of the duration of the period. So I would do 8,000, 1 minus 25 over 100, just put the whole in the calculator, raised to 3. That gives me 3375 exact answer, so just have to put that as well. It says Amir invests 1500 in an account. The account pays in compound interest at the rate of R% per year. At the end of 8 years, the value of his investment is 1656.73. Calculate the value of R. So initially he invested 1500. He's getting 1 plus an unknown rate of R over 100. Because R is a percentage, so R over 100. Raised to 8 years has given me 1656.73. Now in order to do this, what you would do is basically you would separate 1 plus R over 100. Alright, now since this 1500 is being multiplied with this bracket, what I could do is I could take it to the other side and put it in division. So if it would be in division, and since this is a power of 8 left alone, I could basically do this and put this outside. I hope this method is clear. Now I wouldn't want to solve this because I have a very long answer and I have to continuously keep using this. In order to find R now, I would just basically R over 100 would be this whole thing, 8 1656.73 over 1500 minus 1. And then what I would do is r would be 100 into the whole thing in bracket because it's dividing, so multiply. So 8 times 1656.73 divided by 1500 minus 1. Alright, so what you get is 800 into 0.73 1500 minus 1. Just be careful when you're typing this in the calculator, not to mix up -1 in the bracket in the square root. So that gives me 1.25%. So that would be the value of my r. Moving on, it says find the inequalities that define the unshaded region R. So there is 4 marks of 4 inequalities. The first inequality is basically, as I can see, x is greater than 1. Let's say x is less than 6. X is basically less than 6. So above 6 it's invalid. Then where is y falling? Y is falling between 5 and 1. There is lower and upper bound. So what I could do is, the minimum value for y is 1. So y has to be greater than or equal to, because it's a bold line. And then also, if I do the same thing, so it would be 5. So it has to be less than 5 but greater than y for the y. And if you find the equation of this line, the middle line, because it's a horizontal line, so if you just continue this line over here, you would get that it's passing through the origin, since no y-intercept, and the gradient is basically rise over run, so x. So the equation of this line is y is equals to x. All right. So whenever we want to do this, now in this region, what you want to do is you want to compare. You take a point inside this. Now in this point, is y greater than x or x greater than y? At this point, as you can see, y is greater than x. At this point, you can see basically that the value of y is less than x. So what you would do is same, y should be less than x, because any point you take inside, even you take this point, let's say, so 4 is less than 5, so y is less than x. For this one, you would get 2 marks because it has 2 boundaries, and x is less than 6 as well. I hope this is clear. Now the next part says solve the simultaneous equations. You must show all of your working. Now to solve any simultaneous equations, at least one of the variables needs to have the same power. I can't probably do with the fraction, so let me try to make this 5y and 3y both into 15y. In order to make a 5y, this 5y into 15y to multiply everything by 3. So when I multiply this fraction 3x over 2 by 3, I would get 9x over 2, just multiply the numerator, plus 15y. I need to multiply the result also with 5, so that would be 5 into 3, 15. And this negative 3y, if I need to make it 15y, negative 15y indeed, then I could subtract them. So I would just need to multiply it with 5. So 4 times 5 would be 20x. And if I multiply negative 3y with 5, so that is negative 15y is equals to 46 into 5, which is 230. Now, basically, if I do 15 minus 15, that would be 30. But if I do 15 plus this, 15 plus minus 15, that would be 0. So I will just need to add both of them. When you add 20 plus 9 over 2, that would be 49 over 2, which is basically same as writing 24. 24.5x is same as 245. So the value of x will be 245 divided by 24.5. That's giving me 10. So x is 10. We have got that, at least one. Now in order to solve for y, you could just take this equation again. That 4x minus 3y is 46. So if I take 3y to the other side and 46 bring to this side, 4x minus 46 is equal to 3y. So 4 times 10, which is 40, minus 46 is equal to 3y. 4 times 10 is 40, minus 46 is a negative 6, is equal to 3y. So y is equal to negative 2. Alright, moving on. It says the diagram shows a cyclic quadrilateral. Find the value of p. Now remember, the properties of a cyclic quadrilateral basically that all the edges, all the corners should touch the circumference of the circle, and if they do touch, then the opposite angles would add up to basically 180 degrees. So first of all, I know that these all are touching, so just cyclic quadratic. That means this 4m and 5m should be 180, and p and 4m plus 38 should be 180. So 4m plus 5m is basically equals to 180. So 9m is 180. Simply, if you put m would be 180 divided by 9, so 9 into 20. I've got the value of m. Now to find the value of p. So 4m plus 38 plus p would be 180 as well. I know the value of m, which is 20, so 4 into 20 would be 80. 80 plus 38 plus p is 180. So in order to find p, what I would do is 180 minus, if you do 80 plus 38 is 118. If I take it to the other side, it will be subtracted. 180 minus 118, that would give me p as 62. Alright, 62 is the value of p. Moving on. So it says the diagram shows a circle with a radius 9 cm. Complete the area of the major sector. So whenever you have the major sector, what you would do is first of all, want to find the angle. Major sector means this angle. In order to find this angle, what you do is 360 minus 48, that is 312. So 312 over the total angle is 360, because you're not considering the whole circle, a part of the circle. And then simply apply the formula, which is pi into the r squared. R is 9. Just put this thing in your calculator. 312 over 360 into pi into 9 squared. Two significant figures, that would give you 221. Then it says write 0.146 with 46 repeating in its simplest form. Now since x is 0.146, I could do 1000x, which would give me 146 with 0.46 repeating. Now I could do also 10x. 10x, what happened is 1 would be here and 46 would still repeat. So when I subtract them, 1000 minus 10 would be 990x would be equal to 146. Since the decimal part is same, it will be cancelled out. 146 minus 1, which is 145. So x would be 145 over 990. Now a common mistake here is that you leave the answer like this, but you don't. You would simplify it. Just put this in a calculator. First check if the answer is same. When I put this, I'm getting 0.1464 or basically 46 as well. The calculator will give you a simplified form, which is called as 29 divided by 198. You could do this by yourself as well, but if you have the pivot as a calculator, then why do it by yourself? 29 over 198. Alright, now moving on to the next question. It says in this diagram, shape the region M naught intersection N naught. Now in this types of questions, if you often get confused, here's a technique. So just draw two separate diagrams. Alright, and put both the circles inside. So one circle, another circle. Alright, on the side with a pencil and an exam. So what would happen when you shade M naught? If this is M, this is N, M and N. So when you do not shade M, you would shade the outside part and the circle of M, but just leave M aside, right? This is how it would look like roughly. And when you don't shade N, so basically this is how it would look like. Now you're going to find using these both that what is common in this both, and you're going to shade that. As you can see in both of them, we have shaded the outside part. So we would just shade the outside part. I'm just going to do it this way. Yeah. The outside part is entirely shaded. Alright, then as you can see in the first one, we have not shaded M, but in the second one we shaded M, so we can't do that. And in the first one we have shaded N, but in the second one we have not, so it's not common. Second one we have shaded M, but not N. So we would leave the circles like empty, but the entire thing would be shaded. The next part it says is that find the number of elements in B intersection A union and C. A naught union and C. Now how many elements do you have in A naught? A naught would involve 3, 4, 9 and 6. So basically add up 20 plus 9 plus 4 plus 3. That gives me 36. Intersect union with C. That means you also have to add whatever is in C, but do not repeat. That means we have not counted 18 and 10, so we have to add them as well. 18 and 10. That gives me 64. Now how many of these are within B? So as you can see, 10, 4 and 3 are within B. Now find the number of elements in B intersection. What is the region A union C? For this one also I would recommend that you shade. Shading would be actually better in this case. Just take a small one. Yeah, 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. So when you do A intersection union C, not A and along which you have to shade C. So not A would involve this part, everything outside. First of all, everything outside, because that's not A. It would involve B as well. And since you're asking us to shade C, so I'll ask us C as well. That's not A. Alright. Union with C, so we have shaded this union with C. And then you shade B. B is here. Now you want to see what is common between both of them. So common regions are basically this region, so which involves 3 in both. This region which has a 4, this region which has a 10. I think that's it, because in the above part this small section which has a 16 is not shaded. So these are the only 3 sections. So when you add up 10 plus 4 plus 3 is 17. You can think of it logically. That is, you have to find the number of elements that are not in A, and like basically the number of elements that are not in A and also those in C or those in C. Just have to add up all of them and how many of these are in basically with B. Alright, moving on. It says calculate the area of the triangle ABC. So this is the triangle ABC. How do you calculate the area? Area is basically 1 by 2 times A, the one length. Basically for any area using trigonometry, you need to have 2 sides and an angle between them. That's what we have here. So 6.7 into 5.9 into sine of this angle. Just put this in the calculator. Half into 6.7, basically half into 6.7 into 5.9 into the sine of 81. That's going to give you 19.5 degrees. 19.5 cm squared. Sorry, it's an 8 here. Alright, now we move on to the next question, which is question number 18. We have finished question number 17. In question number 18, it says the diagram shows the graph of the curve y is equals to x cubed plus 4x squared minus 2 for negative 3 to 1.5. By drawing a suitable straight line, solve the equation x cubed plus 4x squared minus 2 is equal to 2x. So they're basically asking us, the curve is given x cubed, the same equation is used. We basically find that where will this curve meet the line 2x. So first step is to draw the line 2x. Now in order to draw the line 2x, you need to plot basically 2 points. First, let's say we could put x as 1. So when you put x as 1, you would get y as 2. So that would be 1 point over here. X is 0. So y would also be 0 because 2 into 0 is 0. Then you just take your ruler, and what you're going to do is you're going to connect these 2 points. Connect them as accurately as you can. Alright. This is not very accurate. Yep, somewhere there. Then what you're going to see is the points at which is intersecting. What's the x values there? So here it's somewhere here, like before this line. 0.6, this is 0.5, so 0.6. Okay, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. So I could say that this would be 0. Let's say 88. 0.88 could be one answer. 0.88. The other answer could be, this one would be 0. Let's say negative 0.52. Negative 0.52. Negative 0.52. So there obviously a range of answers, but of course there's that you have to fall in that range, otherwise you would lose a mark over this answer. Moving on, it says factorize completely. Now when you factorize completely, you say that 12 is 12 and 75. So 75, yep. Now 3 is common in both of them. You could take 3 and 3 into 4m squared. 3 into minus 25t squared. 25t squared. Alright. Now 4m squared and 25t squared. If you notice something common, 4 and 25 are both perfect squares, and m squared and t squared as well. So I could write this as square root of 4 is 2m minus the square root of 25 is 5. So I could say that 2m minus 5t and then 2m plus 5t. Even if you expand this, you could get that 2m into 2m would be 4m squared, 2m plus 5t, 2m into 5t, and then if you have negative 2m into 5, that cancel out each other, and 5t into 5t would be negative 25t squared. So this would be the simplified form. It's basically that a squared plus b squared is the same as a plus b, and A minus B. This is a very useful property and is applied through many stages. So do remember to learn this property. 3 times 2m minus 5t and 2m plus 5t. Alright, moving on, we have xy plus 15 and 3y. Alright, so as you can see, I would simply write this as 3y plus 15 plus 5x. Basically xy plus 5x. 3y, 15, xy and 5x. Now if I factor 3 from here, I would get y plus 5, and if I factor x from here, I would get again y plus 5. So if I take y plus 5 common, then what I would left with is basically 3 plus x. That's a simplified form, easy as that. Y plus 5 and basically 3 plus x. It says solve the equation 8 sine x plus 6 is equal to 1. So in these types of questions, what you have to do is isolate sine x. So 8 sine x, if you take 6 to that side, it would be 1 minus 6, that is negative 5. So sine of x is basically negative 5 over 8. So x is sine inverse negative 5 over 8. Sine inverse of negative 5 over 8, that would give you basically negative 38.68218,745. And whenever you have a negative value, one answer straightforward is basically add 360 to this. Use the exact value as per your calculator. Do not, just forget this value and round it off. 8745 plus 360. When you do that, you would basically get 321.3. That's one value for your answer, 321.3. And for sine, whenever you have a negative value, the another method is basically to take the positive of this 38.68218,745 and add 180 to that. So you just take back your initial answer, then you would multiply with negative 1 to get the positive, and you're gonna add 180. That gives you 218.7. 218.7. So I hope that's clear. 218.7 as well. 218.7 and 321.3. Next step, it says that the diagram shows a cuboid, and a cuboid where HD is given as 4 centimeters. This one, EH is given as 6.5 and EF is given as 9.1. It says calculate the angle between CE and the base CDFG. So basically to find this angle relative to this. Alright, now we would basically, what I would do is I would use tan, and for tan I need opposite of adjacent. Opposite is EH, which is given as 6.5, but I need to find this length, which is basically CH. How would I find it? Since this is 9.1, I could basically use Pythagoras theorem. 9.1 squared plus 4 squared would give me the length of CH. Square root of 4 squared plus 9.1 squared. That would give me basically 9.9403 to 1926. Alright, that's basically length of CH. Now I just need to do tan inverse, because tan inverse would help me find the angle. The opposite is 6.5 and the adjacent is 9.94. Use the whole value again just to ensure that you can get the right answer. Okay, so tan inverse 6.5 over my answer value. That was basically giving me 33.2 degrees. Since it's an angle, you have to always write in terms of one decimal place. 33.2 degrees. Alright, moving on. It says that bag A and bag B each contain red and blue counters. Stephen picks a random counter from bag A and Jen would pick from bag B. The probability that Stephen picks a red counter is 0.4, and the probability that they both pick is 0.25 red counter. They both pick a blue counter. To find the probability. Now what's the probability of Stephen finding a blue counter? It's basically if red is 0.4, so if you do 1 minus 0.4 is 0.6. Alright. But now here it says that they both pick red is 0.25. When they say probability of Stephen and Jen picking a red counter, they basically mean the probability of Stephen into the probability of Jen, of both of them picking red. Since Stephen's probability was 0.4, the probability of Jen, which we don't know, is basically equal to 0.25. So now to find the probability of Jen, what I would do is 0.25 divided by 0.4. That will give me the probability of Jen picking a red marble is 0.625. Now, if that is the probability of Jen picking a red marble, then what is the probability of Jen picking a blue marble? If you do 1 minus 0.625, 1 minus 0.625, that gives me basically 0.375. So that's what would be for her to pick blue. So now again, if I want to find blue for both of them, I just have to multiply 0.375 from Jen and 0.6 from Stephen. So 0.6 into 0.375, which is 0.225. Express it in this way. Alright, and this is a 4-mark question, so it's important. No, there's no other questions. So I hope this is the end of the video. I hope this paper was clear and helpful to you. If you have any suggestions for new papers that you want to see, or if you have any questions, please do comment down below and I'll be able to help you. If you want to thank me for these videos, you could use my super thanks and I would really appreciate that. Alright, see you soon in the next video. Best of luck for your studies and if you have any exams approaching. See you then. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends.